You identify as right-wing, but you're an individualist who doesn't think, I assume, that you did anything wrong in the joke that you made.
Yep.
But you went to jail for it. Those on the left may argue that there are those on the left today who are paying a similar sort of cost for expression,
Yes,
for belief.
yes.
Did that incident change you and your previous or prior positions in some way?
No, it actually reinforced my prior positions. And I'll tell you why. Because, I believe, for example, that an individual should have the right to litigate and put up legal consequences for people. Right? So keep filing cases against them, take them for defamation and things. I believe in civil defamation, not in criminal defamation, fundamentally, because I don't think that's any job of the state. Second, I have always believed in, free speech has to be defined. What is incitement? In America, you've got the Brandenburg Principle, which is very clear, which is, jaake un logon ko mara. That doesn't count as incitement. It is, kill all fat people with lard rendered from pork and drown them in
like a specificity.
A specificity.
Yeah.
Right? In India, it just changes like kuch bhi, kabhi bhi, anywhere. See, the point of the law is the law is the law when it is consistent in its application. This is why half my timeline is usually dedicated to legal judicial reforms in this country, because you can't have this kind of, completely diametrically opposite interpretations. The way you control yourself is you know what to do, what not to do. So, for example, you know that if you want to relieve yourself, you go to a toilet. You don't do it in any other part of your house.
Who in India knows this? It's men are constantly on the streets.
Precisely.
Taking a piss.
Precisely, yes. Right. So why do they not know it? Because there is no enforcement of, public urination or public defecation or things like that. If there was, they would automatically know it. And that is the thing. Because it is not enforced, because it is not drilled into you, you don't do it. And that is why you need clarity of law. The law is the law because it is consistent in its application. The law shorn of consistency is tyranny. That's basically what it is. And the third thing is, I have never believed in preventive detention. Preventive detention can happen if there's a flight risk, or if there is a genuine threat ki bhai, this fellow is going to tamper with intel and with evidence.
So do you disagree with Arvind Kejriwal's arrest?
I absolutely disagree with Arvind Kejriwal's. Not just Arvind Kejriwal. I disagree with Umar Khalid's arrest.
You do?
I absolutely 100%. Free Umar Khalid, hashtag. And you know why? And I keep getting attacked once a year when I do that, where I call it a scandal, because my thing is very clear. Jail Umar Khalid for life when you find him guilty. But you can't put him in jail. That boy has lost 3-4 years of his life, I don't know how long and counting, for zero proof that I've seen so far. And as far as the FIR and shit I've seen, I'm sorry, I don't think that stands on two legs, right? Yeah. Which is why before he went to jail, I was going on sparring with him and crap like that. Since he's been in jail, I'm not going to criticize him once he's in jail. Bahar nikal, main fir se tere saath sparring karna shuru karunga. Fir hum dushman banenge. But while you're in jail, no. Same with Sadiq Kappan and people like that, right? So Sadiq Kappan, the latest story is somebody said that he wanted to go behead somebody. By this I can also make up. No?
Yeah.
And
earlier it was who he took a ride with while going to Hathras.
So I don't believe all of this. And see, this actually makes the country a safer country when you keep criticizing your government for things like that, right? And I will always criticize this notion of incitement. So with Sharjeel Imam, he crossed a certain line. It crossed the Brandenburg line. Hum udhar jaake chakka jam karenge and we will cut off the chicken's neck. Okay, that is a very specific threat that needs to be punished. I don't know if the quantum of punishment is what he deserves. In the case of, say, what happened with Nupur Sharma, where this fellow was, what happens when somebody is accused of blasphemy. I think you have to be particularly dense to not know that. And I think this is where the interpretation of the law comes in. When in a third world country. Now, to be fair, Muslims in Saudi Arabia don't do this. Muslims in the Emirates don't do this.
Don't do what?
Going out demanding sartan se juda and things like that. It's a very South Asian Muslim phenomenon. It's a very poor, regressive feudal Muslim phenomenon that you see, or a state-sponsored protest phenomenon like in Iran, because Iran's actually a very developed, people don't realize this, but in 1979, they were ahead of South Korea and Taiwan in per capita income. They're actually a country where industrialization was aborted halfway. So you don't see that. Here you do. And in India, and this is the context, you see, the problem with the law in India is we're 2 centuries that live together. In the cities, we're the 21st century. In villages, you're literally the 7th or 8th century. You know, it's like if I do blood libel against a Jew in a city, koi consequence nahi hoga. But if I do cow blood libel against somebody in a village, there'll be a whole mob that comes out and sets your house on fire and shit like that, right? So it's what he did to Nupur Sharma. He knew exactly what he was doing. And I'm sorry, but denials don't detract from that fact, because you have to be particularly dense making an allegation of blasphemy and not knowing where that ends up.